The Deepening Shadow. A Lovecraftian Horror. Part 4, The Rising. The mark on Sarah's hand did not fade. She had tried everything. She had scrubbed it with soap, with alcohol, with bleach. She had held it under running water until her skin was raw and red. She had covered it with bandages, with gloves, with the sleeve of her jacket pulled down so that no one would see. But the mark was still there. A symbol carved into her flesh as if by a blade that was not quite real, arranged in patterns that made her eyes water when she tried to look at them directly. Marcus had noticed. He had asked her about it twice, 3 times, 4 times. Each time she told him it was nothing. Each time he looked at her with eyes that said he did not believe her. But he did not push. He had seen the same things she had seen. He had heard the same chanting, felt the same cold run from the same darkness. He knew that the mark was not nothing. He knew that it was the beginning of something. He just did not know what. Sarah knew. She had known since the night in the cathedral, when Elia's thorn had turned to face her and spoken the words that had been waiting for her since the moment she touched the table in the sub-basement. "You are the one who opened the door." She had not understood then. She understood now. The door had been closed for a very long time, sealed by men who had known what slept beneath the city, men who had poured concrete and brick and iron into the tunnels, men who had built a warehouse on top of the sub-basement to hide what was below. The door had been forgotten. The door had been sealed. The door had been waiting for someone to open it, and she had opened it, not with her hands, not with any tool. She had opened it with her mind, with her curiosity, with her stubborn refusal to let the darkness stay hidden. She had opened it the moment she touched the table, the moment she saw the thing that lay there, the moment she refused to look away. She had opened the door, and now the door could not be closed. December came earlier than it should have. The days grew short, the nights long, the cold biting at the city with teeth that seemed sharper than they had ever been. The sky was gray, the clouds low, the sun a pale disk that barely cleared the buildings before sinking back into the horizon. Sarah had always loved winter. This year she dreaded it. The dreams had grown stronger. Every night she saw the same things, the pool of black water, churning, rising, threatening to spill over its edges. The thing beneath it, stirring, stretching, trying to break through the surface that held it down. The figures around it, chanting, swaying, their voices rising in a rhythm that was not quite human. And always at the center the face of Elia's thorn, smiling, waiting. "The stars are almost right," he said in her dreams. "The gate is almost open, and when it opens you will be there, you will see, you will understand. You will become what you were always meant to be." She woke each morning with the taste of salt on her lips. The first sign that something was wrong came on December 14th. It was a Sunday, a cold, gray day when the city seemed to hold its breath. Sarah was in her apartment, going through John Mendez's notebooks for the 100th time, trying to find something she had missed. She was so focused on the pages that she did not hear the television turn on. It was the news. A reporter standing outside the New York Public Library, her face pale, her voice trembling. "Unexplained phenomenon. Witnesses report seeing lights beneath the surface of the street, lights that seem to pulse, to move, to..." The screen flickered. The reporter's face was replaced by static, and for a moment Sarah saw something in the static, a shape, a form, something that should not be there. Then the picture cleared. The reporter was gone. The screen showed a map of the city with a red circle drawn around the area where Sarah had found the cathedral, and underneath it a single word. "Assoon." Sarah's phone rang. It was Marcus. "Turn on the news," he said. His voice was tight, controlled. "Every channel, every station, it's the same, the map, the word, nothing else." "I know," Sarah said. "I'm looking at it." "What does it mean?" Sarah looked at her hand. The mark was pulsing faintly in time with something that she could not hear. "It means," she said, "that we don't have much time." The tunnels had changed. Sarah noticed it the moment she and Marcus descended into the subway system on December 18th. The air was warmer than it should have been, thick, heavy, with a smell that she remembered from her dreams. Salt, rot, something that had been sleeping for a very long time. The passages that John Mendez had mapped were no longer where they had been. Walls had shifted, doors had opened, passages that had been sealed for decades were now clear. It was as if the city beneath the city was rearranging itself, preparing for something, waiting for something. They found the door to the cathedral without searching. It was open. It was waiting. Elias Thorne was standing in the entrance. He was older than she remembered, older than any man should be, his skin gray, his eyes dark, his smile still fixed on his face. "You came," he said. "I knew you would. The door was opened. The way is clear, and soon the stars will be right." "What are you going to do?" Sarah asked. "I am going to finish what my ancestors began. I am going to open the gate. I am going to let the old ones rise, and you are going to help me." "I'm not going to help you." "You already have. You opened the door. You let the darkness in. You are the one who will be there when it breaks through." He stepped aside. Behind him, the cathedral was no longer dark. It was filled with light, not the light of the sun, not the light of any lamp. It was the light of something that was rising from the pool, something that had been waiting for this moment since before the first fish crawled onto the land. The water was churning now, black and thick, spilling over the edges of the pool, spreading across the floor. And in the center of the pool, something was rising, a shape, a form, a thing that should not exist. Sarah saw it clearly, and for a moment she could not breathe. It was not the thing from the sub-basement. It was not the shape she had seen in her dreams. It was something older, something larger, something that had been waiting for the stars to be right for a very long time. It was a face, not a human face, not the face of any creature that had ever lived on the earth. It was a face that should not exist, that could not exist, that existed anyway. Its eyes were closed, its mouth was shut, its skin was gray and wet and old, and it was smiling. "Ph Englui MGLW Naf Cthulhu R Lie W Ga Nagel FH Tan," Elias said. His voice was not his own. It was the voice of the thing in the pool, the thing that was rising, the thing that was almost awake. In his house at Lie, dead Cthulhu waits dreaming. Marcus raised his weapon. He fired once, twice, 3 times. The bullets passed through Elias Thorne as if he were made of smoke, passed through the thing in the pool as if it were made of water, passed through the light and the darkness and the space between them. They did nothing. "Stop," Sarah said. Her voice was quiet, but Marcus heard her. He stopped firing. He stood beside her, his weapon lowered, his face pale. "What do we do?" he asked. Sarah did not answer. She was looking at the pool, at the thing that was rising from it, at the face that was almost human, that was not human, that was something that had been waiting for her since before she was born. She raised her hand. The mark on her skin was glowing now, bright, pulsing in time with something that she could not name. "You opened the door," Elias said. "You can close it." "How?" "You know how. You have always known." Sarah looked at the pool. She looked at the thing rising from it. She looked at the faces of the figures around it, the ones who had been chanting, the ones who had been waiting, the ones who would be there when the stars were right. She closed her eyes. She remembered the forest where she had found the first body, the sub-basement where she had found the door, the cathedral where she had found the truth. She remembered the words she had spoken in her dreams, the words that had been waiting for her since the beginning. "Ph Englui MGLW Naf Cthulhu R Lie W Ga Nagel FH Tan." She spoke them again, and this time the thing in the pool heard her. It opened its eyes. The light was blinding. It filled the cathedral, filled the tunnels, filled the darkness that had been waiting for so long. It was not the light of the sun, not the light of any star. It was the light of something that had been sleeping, that was waking, that was rising. Sarah felt it in her bones, in her blood, in the mark on her hand. It was pulling her, drawing her toward the pool, toward the thing that was rising, toward the face that was smiling. She did not resist. She walked forward. She walked into the light, into the water, into the darkness that was waiting for her. Marcus called her name. She did not hear him. She heard only the voice of the thing in the pool, the thing that was rising, the thing that was almost awake. "You open the door," it said. Its voice was not a voice. It was the sound of the sea, the sound of the wind, the sound of the darkness between the stars. "You can close it." "How?" she asked. "By choosing." She did not understand, but the thing in the pool knew. It showed her what she had to do. She had to let go of her fear, of her doubt, of her certainty that the darkness was evil and the light was good. She had to open herself to what was rising, to what had been waiting, to what would come when the stars were right. She had to become part of it. She reached out. Her hand touched the surface of the pool. The water was warm, warm as skin, warm as the thing that had been waiting for her. She did not pull back. She let it take her. The light grew brighter. The darkness grew deeper. And somewhere in the space between them, Chen chose.